Yeah, on mobile it's hard to read the text, but I'm about to get my laptop up.
Alright, I think we're live.
Yeah, sounds good.
So, last time, I think we got to the point where we want to write a Sphinx extension that would allow longer lines in cases like these arcs. So currently, oh, this line is very long. Currently we have something like this, which is not ideal, and in very many cases the expressions will fit on one line and be formatted much better. So in cases like this, we want, first of all, to not line up all these equal signs. So do something like that. And now this will almost fit on one line. And then we want to, if stuff doesn't fit on one line, we want to format it as in the grammar input, which is put the equal sign on one line and then individual cases on lines after that. And probably also get rid of this double colon and just use a or double colon equal sign and just use a colon like the actual grammar and like Python does. Does that make sense?
So, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
what we wanted to do last time.
Yeah,
All right.
no, that is what we wanted to do.
Yeah, the problem there is that this does need a special Sphinx extension. So currently, currently in PySpecific, there's a very small grammar snippet directive class. Well, it's not very small, but it's relatively simple because it punts all the work to Sphinx's built-in production list. And Sphinx's production list is quite smart, and I think we'll need to go through the source code of Sphinx to do something like production list.
Okay.
But just to recap, what this does now is we take our grammar snippet directive, and that has some metadata up top, and then the body of this directive is just formatted as Sphinx production list would expect it. So what we do is we have some basically ignored options, except for the diagrams one, and we take like lines of the content and we just append them to the page that is being built after this header, and then add the diagrams as pages. It's working for now.
Wow. Okay.
I think what I want to try before that is updating the branch, because I think there have been some changes in this PySpecific file, and a lot of these directives got moved to their own files. So we might want to see how that is done, and if this gets any bigger, it probably needs to go in its own file as well. So let me do that. Fetch origin, and then merge in the main branch. I have a shortcut for that, which includes fetching the origin. but it
nice.
will do git merge origin main and give a message merge in the main branch. If I don't put in the message will be something like merge with the main branch of origin to local branch and stuff like that, which doesn't really make sense because nobody who uses the name origin. That's like my local convention. And it looks like we have a lot of conflicts, unfortunately, and we have to resolve them someday. So let's go through those. One of them is looking at me in this file. So it looks like originally there was directive in the main branch. This was replaced by directives. And in my own branch I have both, which is interesting. So what I like to do is just search for this word. Does it appear anywhere? No, so we don't want directive. What about directives? Ah, yeah, it's used there, so we do want this. Not that, not that. And then there's this new document in older version, and this unescape apparently is needed, so we keep that in. Any more conflicts in here? Yes. So my version adds this grammar snippet directive. We want that there, but it seems my version also has process audit events, which was there in the original and is not there anymore. So that looks like something that was moved to another file. So let's remove that. Let me also grep for process audit directives. Maybe I didn't remember the name. Interesting. So that either got moved out or, oh well, that probably got removed. Let's look at the files. Oh, there's audit events. And I guess it got rewritten. So that looks merged. Let's see this one now. So what got changed here? Originally there was this, and in the new main branch there's this. I don't know if you can see the difference clearly from that. But the difference is that one of them has this side number here, the other one has this side number here. So this was just a fix for the docs, and of course our version is correct because it's generated, right? So I just keep my version there. And that's all the conflicts we have here. Next one is in expressions. So original. Oh, one thing, I don't know if we talked about this. I have the git merge 3 display. So I get the original, the main branch, and my branch. If you just install git with default settings, you only have the 2, and it's very confusing, you know.
Yeah.
Right, so
so that's a git config.
Yeah.
Config.
Yeah, I have
I
merge conflict style. I
there we go.
started out with div3, then somebody told me there's a newer, better version called zdiv3, and of course whenever git changes something they have to give it a different name because backwards compatibility. So as of sometime in the past, zdiv3 is the best thing you can have for merge conflict style. also have this tool called Selbif, which is really really useful, but it only works on Linux with its weird setting where I have two clipboards. So I select this, do Control C. That's like the main clipboard, and then I just select this and do nothing, and that's the selection clipboard, which I can also get. And then this little tool just does a diff between those.
Very cool.
No other operating system that I know of
Yeah,
that
really
doesn't like keep the X11 legacy will do this, but I find it extremely useful. Anyway, this was, I believe, either a fix or an actual change in the grammar. I think we have the Python grammar old here, so that should become the current thing from main. But we should just keep this grammar snippet that we have. It might be regenerated with the new version later. Right, what's the next one? Here, another flexible expression list. I guess that's something new. So the same resolution for that. Next up, there's a big change here. Start expression, flexible expression list, and so on. So hopefully these will all get documented automatically, although I think flexible expression list looks new and it was referenced in some of the other documentation, so we might need to include that here, just so the tool knows that it should be documented here and not like folded into one of the other ones. And we have Python grammar old, which should stay as it is in the main branch. What's next? Oh, another flexible expression list here, so we do the same resolution for this conflict. And that should be it for this file. Next one is the PySpecific, and then there's a conflict in parser.c. How do you... what do you do here? Well, the correct thing here is to regenerate this file. So I'll delete it to make sure nothing uses it. And then I'll do make regen pegen, which should regenerate the parser. Unfortunately, it also builds all of Python, which it can't do because I've just deleted the parser with the conflict. And the thing to do there is to regenerate the parser using my installed version of Python. So I do Python for regen equals user bin Python, which is my system Python, and do that again, and apparently it wants something in that file. Okay, so let's put something there, and there we go. It's regenerated. So that was a bit of arcane knowledge about if you first see a conflict in another generated file, it's really painful. But obviously this is not my first rodeo. So yeah, Python for regen, very useful if you're regenerating something and Python build system insists on compiling Python first. Alright, so let's see what changed. So I'm now looking at a diff of a merge commit. What I'm looking at here is that in the first two columns of the diff there's like two columns of pluses and minuses, and when there's only one of those, that means that change got applied in just one of the sides of the merge, right? So if I see a plus plus here, that's something that changed relative to both sides of the merge, and I need to look at it more carefully. So I have a little peek here. I see there's a possible problem here. This is new in both commits because I added this flexible extension list, expression list. You might remember that. So that's fine. Everything else looks like it's just merging stuff. Now we get to parser.c, which here, you know, it assigns these numbers somehow. So it assigned a different number. So these, not gonna look at much closer. So this looks good. Let's see git status. I think we can add all of these and try to make Python. Compile everything. Well, looks like everything's fine. I'm missing zlib. That's because my system is not configured correctly right now because I'm testing something with zlib. But Python got run as part of the build process, so at least something is working. I also want to rebuild the documentation and see how that looks. I don't think much changed. I should probably run the tool before I do that. But my shell line to run the tool only rebuilds part of the documentation, and it sometimes has trouble if the rest isn't built yet. So let's wait for this. So this is my shell command. Oh, there we go. Get documented rule names. There is no flexible expression list in the grammar at all. So wow, that's interesting. So if I look at Python's official documentation for the development branch and see if there's any flexible expression list. Oh, there it is. Flexible expression list. There's a flexible expression, which can be an assignment expression or start expression. Right. And then if I look at the full grammar specification, there is nothing like an flexible expression list. This is a lie. This does not exist in the grammar. So what are we looking at here? Subscription? Why doesn't the documentation use the names that actually appear in the grammar? Let's see how subscription looks here. So in the actual grammar, it's apparently called a slice. And a slice uses something called a start expression. And that has something that looks quite similar to the flexible thingy. So it looks like this flexible expression list is a simplification just for the docs, which is really hard to audit if it's actually correct. So let's remove this flexible expression list thing again, and stuff now gets rebuilt successfully. I don't think much has changed. You can look at the diff. There's some change in the diagram, which looks horrible. But it looks like this yield expression, start expression got changed to annotated RHS. That's for assignment and simple statements. Let's see how that looks. Assignment now has this annotated RHS. Which is yield expression or star expressions, and that was already there before. Apparently, it just wasn't used. So that's probably a simplification in the grammar itself. Where instead of this annotated RHS, it would spell out whatever this annotated RHS is. Yeah, these two things. Interesting. Not relevant to anything we do, I guess. So everything works. So let so let's add everything. And commit this version of the main branch. Right. The little project is officially up to date now. And let's look at how to do the Sphinx thing. So, once again, I want to write an actual Sphinx directive handler, I don't know what it's called, for this grammar snippet, so that it formats the text based on like the actual text itself. It'll probably need to parse it somehow, rather than giving it to production list for Sphinx to for Sphinx itself to parse it. So how do I do that? I think what I'll do is I'll look in Sphinx source code and see how Sphinx does it. So search for production list, and there's a class production list, admonition and element, class production list, a Sphinx directive. There's a visit production list for HTML and LaTeX. Oh, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Oh, I don't want to write a specific writer for HTML and LaTeX. Oh no. Man page has a specific production list visitor. Yeah. Well, let's see how this will work. There's a tech style. Oh, great. Writer's text has a visit production list.
7.3.
Scoping changes. That's okay. Test domain. Oh, I feel a sense of dread here. All right.
Maybe this isn't such a great idea after all.
Well, let's see. So when we visit, so
we
the
want to be able at the end of this movie to put the line, "No Peters were harmed."
Now that is not necessary. I mean, if this is like really undoable, then we can avoid this and just use the Sphinx built-in production list and maybe ask some favor from Sphinx maintainer to make this more configurable or something like that. I don't know. It would be hard to do it.
We only really care about the HTML output in this case.
No.
Oh, I see.
This is the Python docs, which
I see.
you can download these as PDF or. I really hate this documentation. Yeah.
Well, I guess we would only care about HTML and PDF.
Oh, also plain text and tech info. Somebody uses that. There's also EPUB, and these are just the ones that Python.org builds. Right. If you write your own backend for Sphinx and export the Python documentation to that, you can definitely do that, and we'll support you as much as we can, right? So no, that's some bad news. I guess the problem here is that production list is like its own kind of element. It's not composed of like pre-formatted text with links in it.
And so visit and depart, are they basically like the beginning and the end of the before and after?
The what?
I noticed that many of these say visit underscore production list or depart underscore. Oh, actually.
Oh, there's also depart. Nice. So what Sphinx does is it creates a tree of elements.
Oh.
We can actually see that if there's the doc tree, and there's a little
I've never read one.
It's an in-memory structure. You can't really read it, but you can dump it.
Okay.
I believe this is Pickle, but you can see it has all the text inside.
Wow.
There are some builders. I guess they're not here. So make HTML. We'll do Sphinx build dot bhtml build doc trees. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So let's do that. Yeah. So bhtml, and there are, I think there is like a pseudo XML. Let's see if I remembered correctly. looks like. There is a pseudo XML builder, so instead of HTML or PDF, you get a pseudo XML file.
Okay.
Which is XML that uses indentation rather than ending tags.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Which means it's not machine readable, but it's more human readable.
People can read it. Yeah.
Oh, pseudo XMLs are in build HTML. Oh no, the target is separate from the builder. I wanted to put them in build pseudo XML. Let me remove this HTML. That's not really HTML. Yeah, so now we have this pseudo XML file. It uses indentation instead of closing tags. Right, so there's a document, a section, paragraph, compound, bullet list, things like that. And let's try to find what this does for production list. Right, so for production list we have productions that consist of references. So these are the linked things. And in each reference there's a literal with the text and there's some text like this. Slicing, I guess, is not linked. You know, so there's production, and then references, and formatting is entirely up to the format specific output routine. Right, there's nowhere here that the double colon thingy exists, so that is, as we can see here, that's added for each output format separately.
Okay.
That's a bummer.
As a carpenter, if you hear the carpentry work, let me know and I'll mute this.
Nope.
Great.
Discord is apparently pretty good at filtering out noise. I wonder if there's like a generic pre-formatted text, which, well, if we go to HTML and search, well, so there's production list. There's defaults for production. And apparently this adds strong tags. Oh, starts strong tag. Does this. So I want to search this for the HTML tag for pre-formatted text and see if we get any hits. We get one in production list, obviously. There's text. Literal text. Literal seems to be yeah, seems to not accept any like internal formatting. And that's it. Yeah, I guess this can't be done. I wonder if we
Well, I guess we
Oh,
could.
see, this
I mean,
was moved here from base class visit literal to support more formatting in literal nodes.
oh, that's ironic.
Huh. Okay, so maybe we can have literal literal with internal formatting. That would be nice.
And why does it say overwritten on line 812?
I guess there's a superclass implementation that this overrides.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
I think the admonition types are specific to Sphinx.
Yes, they are. that much I know.
Right, so LaTeX apparently does begin production list, end production list, and leave all the formatting to the style.
Yes, that's the STY.
That's
that
the
I know well.
STY.
Yeah.
So I guess all the logic then happens in this production list thingy. Yep, there it is. That gets added in a LaTeX specific way with lots of
Sure.
like the correct number of special characters. I guess you know that well if you know LaTeX.
Yep. Yep. That's something.
Man page has its own trough formatting and also does this. How? Okay. So yeah. So all the logic happens in the backend. So the actual code probably won't be of much help. But let's look at that anyway. So this will.
I mean, we could open a request for the Sphinx maintainers because I do have. It's easier for me to recruit people to do that.
The problem with that is this would need to get into Sphinx, then it would need to get into a released version of Sphinx, and then we would need to wait some time, which with current policies is years. People are trying to shorten that, but right now it's
nope, I get it.
5 years to get these new Sphinx features.
Yeah, it's a Vatican conclave.
Yeah, people build Python documentation with the old version of Sphinx, and some have reasonably good reasons to do that, although...
No, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. So, not that way. Now, here's a production list and a production nodes. At least these are very simple classes that don't have any logic at all. Unfortunately, the logic is then in the like output routines. Okay, so I think what the best we can do if it works is try to output some kind of literal node that supports internal formatting, and if we can get multi-line literals, I'm sure there's something like that, isn't there, right? Like code. If we can get multi-line literals with internal links, then we should be all good. Alright, so have any something like this, if we can like mark it as Python grammar and put in internal links, that would be sufficient. Does that make sense?
Yes. I think that's the best we can do. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
Alright. So let's try. Let's try doing that in here. So instead of this production list, we will take the whole content and wrap it in some literal thing. Do we have PDB command? Let's see. I want an example of how these nodes are created. Like here we create a paragraph and put in stuff. So I guess here we want to get the content is disconnected. That's good. I guess the content is now a list of lines. So we want to output a paragraph and return that node, right? So this means all the rest in here will get deleted. I'll comment it out now. Oops. What are you doing, Kate? What is this? Huh, weird. Right. Did I change something? I should really put stuff in makefiles rather than batch history, right? Apparently I'm using the wrong command somewhere here.
Yes, makefiles are definitely...
they're not as easy to change if you want to edit them.
Yeah, well...
Oh, I know what's wrong. I'm in the wrong directory. I'm in doc now because I was building the sudo XML stuff.
Oh, I see.
There we go. Okay, directive grammar snippet must return a list of nodes. Right, I want to return node.children. Okay, why not? So this will result in an empty paragraph. And I want to add a literal node instead of that. Oh, it's an error. Right. to build the whole documentation before building a part of it. While that happens, how do we get to Sphinx nodes? Is there
DocUtils? Oh, I see. DocUtils mark.
Just directives. Roles directives.
The domain API? Is that where you get them?
Domain API. A group of object description primitives. Yeah, probably. So, doctrine node classes added by Sphinx.
Oh, great. There you go.
Is there a literal? Literal emphasis.
Oh.
Behaves like emphasis, but text processors are not applied. Huh. No, I just want the literal. And I guess that's part of DocUtils then. And I don't think DocUtils has any documentation about its API. Does it? Creating directives? Anything about nodes? DocUtils document tree.
Ooh.
Structural supplements. Is there a literal here? Literal block. Text only. Children text data plus inline elements. The inline elements, please have a reference. Aha!
To be completed.
Nice. So this has text data plus inline elements.
Oh.
That's exactly what we need.
Wow.
So that's literal block. That's literal block. And there has to be some kind of Python API for it.
Uh-oh.
And the module docutil.nodes.
Okay.
And I guess if the docs link to this, you're supposed to read the implementation directly, right?
I don't think we have a choice.
Well, this is a pretty modern code base. That's typing. Unfortunately, literal also has a different meaning. Wait, what am I looking for? Literal block, not literal. Literal block. Okay. Here you go, literal block. I guess we can just import it from DocUtils nodes. Let's try. So
you do. Okay.
DocUtils nodes. Okay, we already have nodes. So literal block equals nodes dot, what's the name again? Literal block.
Literal block.
Literal block. Does it need anything?
No.
Who knows? Let's just try it like that, and then we append. Okay, how do we add one node to another? That needs to be an example here somewhere.
Oh, add text? No, add.
Nested parse. I know I did something like this somewhere. Oh, C annotations. Did some of this and oh, it's plus equals. Nice. Who would have thought? So node plus equals literal block, and then the literal block will probably need some text. Right, let's see if this works.
Okay.
Right. Let's look at the simple one here. Nope, nothing shows up. So that's not the way. I see there's paragraph being created here with a lot more stuff. What's this? Add text. There's notes strong, notes text, content. Huh. Okay, let's try it like this. I don't know if there's any documentation for notes of paragraph. Yeah, and anything that Sphinx adds is documented rather nicely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
But it all derives from the docutils classes, which I couldn't find the documentation for. And so when this behaves like some docutils class, it's really hard to get the docs for it. So I imagine I'm not the only one like looking for examples. So that example was nodes.paragraph. Then there's these two empty strings, and then there are some nodes and a keyword argument. So I guess this is the nodes that should be inside our paragraph. And I need to look up what these are. But that's not a priority right now. So let's get rid of that and see what happens. thing. It's finished. I guess maybe we also want to try returning a list with that paragraph. Nope. Oh, and there's one more thing, which I don't know if my my little command does. It doesn't. Which is I need to touch the files so that Sphinx thinks they have changed.
Oh, okay.
Because otherwise it will
I see. Well,
cache things.
Yeah. That's a neat little trick.
It worked at times in the past. Yeah, it looks like it's rereading everything, which sometimes I don't want it to do, but sometimes I do. So let's see. Oh, there we go. Hello world. Nice. Nice. So what did this do?
Really cool.
That did a paragraph with this text node. So let's put that in content. But I don't want text. I want the literal node. Literal block.
I think it's actually called nodes.literal.
Yeah. Like that. Rebuild. Nope. So we still have a paragraph saying hello world. Oh no, there was an error. Lexing literal block hello world resulted in error at token. Lexing literal. I don't want this to do any lexing.
Does it do that for pigments? Maybe? For the syntax highlighting?
Maybe.
Or is that, I don't know, maybe that's just for HTML.
Yeah, lexing sounds like it would. Oh yeah, it's lexing it as Python 3. Huh. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's trying to syntax highlight it. Which it would be neat if we had syntax highlighting, but I don't think we can have it because we want to add references like hyperlinks.
Oh, I see.
And I
right. Okay.
don't think that would mesh really well with syntax highlighting. But we can add our own syntax highlighting, of course, if we can disable this. So let's try to see what literal block accepts.
I think there is a different literal. Maybe it's literal code. Not literal code. I think there is a different kind of literal block for things that you don't want.
So there's.
No, maybe not in docutils. It's probably a Sphinx thing.
literal blocks elements are commonly used for program listings and interactive computer sessions. That is exactly what we want, because we're listing grammar. So this is a good thing. I don't think docutils will try to parse it and syntax highlight it.
No, I think that's a Sphinx thing, because that's in the conf.py you get to specify.
Right, so let's see if Sphinx has anything to say about literal block.
Apply source workaround? Oh no, that's something else.
Apply source? No. So I would like to know what the signature is for these node classes.
Does the language server let you search for the definition? Like find out where that thing's defined?
I don't really have that set up.
Oh wait, I think I do in my PyCharm. Hang on.
Oh, you do?
In PyCharm, I think I do.
So it's a general and a text element. So let's yeah, general is a body. So then that's a class. The text element has an init. Oh, here it is. Raw source, text, children. Okay, so there's a raw source and there's a text. And if passing children to init, make sure to set text to an empty string or other suitable value. And it wants a raw source, but we don't really have any raw source. So it probably does. What is raw source used for even? This element, the generic element, just has raw source in the signature. And then there's also node. Which just has some data. Okay. Right, so literal block, I guess we could generate like this and then put in the text node. But they still get the lexing. Well, what does fixed text element give us? There's also raw source and text. And I guess there's also attributes here. Which might be the key. Which might be where Sphinx looks when it lexes something. wait, there's a Python module that adds external links to source code. Huh. Might be good to look in the source for that, for some examples. Code block. Okay, so Sphinx has a code block with language. What does that do? Apparently, this literal block also has a language, but I don't know how to set it up.
Oh. Highlight language? Can you unset that?
Yeah, highlight language looks like is a configuration option. Don't want to go there. Highlight is a directive that sets the highlighting for the following code blocks.
Is there like a raw option or something like that? Or you don't?
Now the problem here is I'm looking at the restructured text documentation, and I really want to look at the node documentation for this.
Okay.
And it's not very clear what node comes out of this.
So I should clone the source code for docutils and run it through PyCharm.
Maybe that'll work. But if I make this tokenize correctly as Python, that should get rid of at least the error. Python keyword. Like something like this. All right. So this is a literal, like a literal chunk of code. It's highlighted as Python. Right? Well,
Yep.
Here's a Python keyword class. So I want to tell Sphinx to please not highlight that as Python. Which would be nice, which would be easy if I was writing restructured text. But no, using a docutils node, which only has docutils documentation, but Sphinx is adding its language to it. So I need to, well, code block apparently is a Sphinx thing, right?
Yeah, code block is a Sphinx thing.
Does it have a corresponding node?
Oh, it must. Uh,
not. So I probably could use this highlight lang, but that would set the highlight language for all subsequent code blocks, which I do not want.
Oh shit. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Want to set it on the code block itself. Let's look at the source if everything else fails. No. Nah. This is an element. Elements are just empty. Is it what? Is this what?
Is this a place where we could use the depart hook? Remember how they were...
Oh no, the depart hook was in the writers, so if we do anything there, we need to implement it for all the writers. So
that's right.
no,
Yeah,
that's
No.
that's something very different.
Yeah.
Do we have any kind of code here? No. What does highlight lang do? How does Sphinx use highlight lang? Lang equals language? If I do lang equals plain, will that have any effect? And so these nodes apparently take attributes as keyword arguments, and it seems like the only way Sphinx could pass extra info to the Docutils directives. It would be nice to find this in the documentation somewhere, or at least yeah. So that's an attribute of highlight lang. Well, maybe I want to look at how Sphinx does this code block. Where's it implemented? Register directive code block. Code block. There we go. Class code block. Okay, that takes optional arguments. And what does it do? Emphasize lines. Classes force language. Literal language equals self arguments 1, and this literal is a node's literal block. Bingo. Okay. Literal language is set to self argument 0, which I really very much hope is a string. So let's name it literal and do literal language equals plain text. I think that's the name of the lexer.
Okay.
Wait for that to build.
Nodes.py.
Nope. Pigment's Elixir name plain is not known. I'm really happy to see the message, since it means the message got through. And now I just need the Pigment's Elixir. Text plain, mime Elixir, no. Plain text formats, no. Text Elixir, text plain. Null Elixir does not highlight anything, and that's named text. Okay. This, not plain. I'll make that rebuild. Fingers crossed.
You were looking for the definition for the signature for literal underscore block. Is that right?
Yes. And there we go. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. We have some text. We have some text. I hope that there can be multiple texts.
Oh, nodes.paragraph. Oh, wait. Nodes.paragraph.
Let's see how much formatting is done. Yeah, I found the signature in the end. It has like the source and text,
yeah,
and then the contents, and then you can give it arguments as some kind of options as keyword arguments. This is perfect. So what I can see here is that this does not add any extra spaces if I don't ask for it, and if I put in a new line actually appears in the output. This is perfect. I really like this. One more thing to try is to setting the language as a keyword argument right here. I think that should be possible from the signature I looked at earlier. And now the thing to do is to put in a reference. So we need to do both links to other places and links from other places to here. We need to have both targets you can link to and links to other places in the documentation. That got through. That's nice. That's nice. Right. And I can get rid of this to do because these are the arguments that nobody uses. First thing to do would be a reference to somewhere else, and I can look at this C annotation thingy that I messed with earlier, and I'm pretty sure there's linking here. So this is addNode.pendingxref. So this is a cross-reference. It's pending because Sphinx doesn't need to have the target yet, and it has a name and a domain, target, type, ref explicit, whatever those are.
Yeah.
I'll just copy that wholesale. And then it has a domain and target. Those are the interesting things.
Yeah.
Right, so I put that here. I hope I have all nodes imported. Yeah, that seems to be pretty common. Uh, right, so this is not stable ABI. Let's call this, let's link to, for example, this annotated assignment statement, right? So this is just text. I'm not sure what the domain would be. The target would be the annotated assignment statement, and there's also ref type. So I know where I'll look. I'll look into build sudo XML here and check out some of the references here, right? So there's a reference which is internal. Ref ID is grammar token.
Oh wow.
Blah 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 blah. So I guess I need this grammar token thing. And grammar token grammar token. Then there's the name of the grammar. So grammar token Python grammar, and I don't think we use Python grammar here. We used something else. Grammar. Oh no, this is old grammar. I need this Python grammar old. Grammar token Python grammar old. I'm actually looking for this annotated assignment statement, right? And that was in for expressions, no? In simple statements. Oh, so it is Python grammar. Okay. Grammar, and all of this needs to be in the target. This is just text. Right. And yeah, that should be it. Ref domain std. So there's no domain in here, so I wonder what happens if I leave that out. And there's this explicit thing. Yeah. Let's see if there's any docs for pending extra, since this is a Sphinx thing.
Yeah. Pending extra.
Oh, there's children and there's attributes. Yeah. No mention of what those attributes should be. So let's see if this works somehow. There's a syntax error in your configuration file, of course. Positional arguments follows keyword arguments. Oh, I don't want this assignment here. List index out of range. Oh dear. What is going on, right? What? Oh, I know. The xref needs something inside it. So I make a node here and then add text to it. So,
oh, like a hello world or something?
So this, I guess, needs to be added again. Yeah. So this is, I think it's called the source.
Oh, the source, yeah.
And then I do ref node, I need to add it here, ref node plus equals node text sphinx get text. Do I have sphinx get text? Yeah. Oh no, I don't want this translated. That's an identifier, right?
Oh no.
Or did that work? No, it didn't.
It didn't?
It didn't do a link.
Oh, I see. Ooh, it's supposed to put a link in there.
I'm sure. I'm sure that's a problem with something like the domain. Grammar token, Python grammar, blah blah blah. Let's see the sudo XML. So this is always grammar token, Python grammar, blah blah blah. And annotated assignment expression comes from Python grammar. So that should be okay. Well, the text of the link is this part, not that part. I don't know if Sphinx has anything on ref domain. Pending xref condition.
So, would the ref domain be Sphinx instead of standard? Or maybe Python?
I don't know. So, see, there's also a pending xref condition. Which allows completely different content between resolved references and unresolved references, which is interesting. Let's...
Oh, I run into this a lot because I always forget the syntax for references, like label and rank.
Yeah, but I think we want to stick to pending xref. Oh, these nodes are resolved. So is there an xref that's not pending that has the same attributes? Or is that a docutils thing? No. It's called reference, right? Yeah, depending.
Yeah.
It's called reference. Is that a Sphinx thing?
Adding a reference domain. Sphinx reference. Yeah, I guess it is a Sphinx thing.
So, one more thing. I'm looking for annotated statements and simple statements. This one. Let's see if... Now this is the ID. Let's look in the pseudo XML for the anchor there. So this is in simple statements. Production IDs, token name, annotated assignments. How do you link? How do you link to this? Internal true. Does it need internal true?
I guess internal is for the same, like when it's local to the same document?
No, these aren't local to the same. Or are they? Oh, that's from after it's... Yeah, I guess that's added when it's resolved.
I'm so excited that I understand a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, that's great.
It is great. It is great. It took years to get there, but it's great.
Let's dig into the Sphinx code more. I want to look how this production list is created. Because something needs to parse that thing and create all those nodes. Token xref role. Xref role. Returns title and target. No, that's not what I want. Subnode token name prefix grammar token blah blah blah. Token xrefs. What's token xrefs? This creates a pending xref. Yes! Ref type token, ref domain std, and ref target is the target. Ref type token, not ref. And then ref target is either the whole thing or just annotated assignment statement, and I don't know which one. But hopefully those are the two choices that I can try out. And I have no idea if ref type is documented. No. Nope. Nope. No, it can be the whole thing because we don't have Python grammar here. So, token xrefs. So pending xref gets a title, Ref type is token, ref domain is std, and ref target is target. So title, ref type, ref domain, ref target. Title, domain, target type. We don't need explicit. I don't know what ref explicit is. It adds a literal, not a text node, which I guess is good. We want to reuse that as well. So this is the example. What did I do here? Sorry. This is the example I was looking for. Literal token title. Let's use the variables. Token will be this. Title will be this with a node. A class is xref. Stuck. Do I need to build it again? Updating environment.
So I guess when it says updating environment, that's when it's building the doc tree. Or changing the doc tree.
I don't know what it's doing.
Okay. There's 11 change. Oh, no, it's the file. Yeah.
Now it's reading sources. And it's taking its time.
Strange that it's so much slower now.
Yeah. I think I've seen this sometime before. And removing the cache worked. So I'll try to remove the build directory after this builds and see if a whole rebuild will be any faster. We're almost there. Almost there. Yeah, if pickling something takes this long, then the something is very big. I guess if every rebuild adds some stuff to the environment and then it's just loaded and reused, then we could get this kind of slowness. Done. And this uses text of the link, which doesn't appear in here anywhere, so I don't think it's... Oh, now it's done. Now there's a done here, and then it does some more stuff. Okay. This now uses the title, so that's the right thing, but we still don't get that link.
The hyperlink.
Yeah. So, as I promised, I will remove doc/build. That'll remove the pseudo XML stuff as well, which I don't want. So I want to remove the doc trees and the HTML and keep in the pseudo XML. And now I need to rebuild everything again. Hopefully it'll be faster this time. So what do I do here? I want to figure out the correct arguments for pending xref. Pending xref is defined somewhere deep in Sphinx. Yeah, it's
Add notes.
yeah, it has an init, but this is just a class that holds some data, and somewhere else in the code it's it's handled. System Sphinx as well. So okay. So the pending xref here is a Sphinx class. Let's do this. I will hack the xref. We give it an init. That prints out whatever I need, and then calls the superclass, right? And then I tell Sphinx that this is the thing to use. Maybe that monkey patch will work, maybe not, let's see. I want to print args and keep kw args as they are, but since I got an error, something is working. So this is for C, and of course it can pickle. So it didn't work for everything. Why? Maybe we need to look in the source again. I forget where we are. The code. Oh, token xrefs. Oh, yeah, I need to. So yeah, this apparently imports pending xref directly by name. So I need to monkey patch this file, Sphinx domains std. And stuff it in there. Let's see how that works. Okay. Target list, ref type token, ref domain std, ref target Python grammar old colon target list. Okay. How was I supposed to know that? Come on. Okay, let's copy that. Put it in here. Remove this nasty hack. Okay, and there we go. So ref type, set that to token. Ref domain, set that to std. Ref target is the name of the thingy colon target list. So no grammar token. Python grammar colon annotated assignment statement. And this does not need to be ref explicit. That didn't work.
Oh, it's still frozen? Oh, no.
Yeah. Let's go back to text here. Instead of literal. Nope. That doesn't work.
Where do we find the target again? In other words...
Oh, the ref target.
Oh, ref target. Oh, I see. Target.
Hack the xref to print it out. Let's add the ref node after this literal. Let's see if that works. I don't know if inserting stuff in like the same object 2 times in the doc tree is correct. Oh, so this is the correct link, but when it's put in the literal text, it does not become a link. That's a bummer. So, it's the correct link. We just need to somehow convince literal block to allow linking, and I'm pretty sure you can do that with Sphinx, where you can have like code listing with links in it. So there is probably some example of something that does it.
Maybe in doc strings? Have I seen that before? Oh no, that's the other way. That's
doc string.
No, that's I think that's where the HTML is rendered. Maybe.
Add external links to source code. So this looks at your object descriptions and adds external links to code hosted somewhere else. Ah, yeah, that's not it. I want to add links to code listings.
Maybe putting references inside literal blocks?
We're doing that. It's not working.
No, I'm just wondering if that's, yeah. Because it, in other words, none of these seem to refer to literal blocks.
Right. I want to put links. Put a link in a literal block.
I'm going to ask Jared over in the Write the Docs forum. He does a lot of weird stuff. Jared Deleter.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want the source code to be a target of the link, right? So which usually adding a link to something can mean that, right? I want to add a hyperlink into the code itself.
Inside the source code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this literal block. Where did we find this language? Do you remember?
Oh, the language I thought was in code blocks.
Oh yeah,
blocks,
here code block. Is there this highlight arcs, HL lines? There's dedent. Oh, there's force. What is force? Line has dedent, line, emphasize line, caption, class, name. What is? What is force? How do I find out what force means? Well, it will be handled along with emphasize lines, right? And that's that won't be anywhere else. Where's code that handles emphasized lines? Nowhere.
Oh.
Or highlight. No, that's
Voice and self-dot options.
Highlight setting. Post transforms code. Okay, this is the thing that does highlighting.
Okay.
What is I want this to not do highlighting. Do not rewrite my literal blocks. Highlight language visitor. Where does this actually apply this elixir? PyConsole.
So I figured out how to search through how to use PyCharm search. This one's
nice.
Which is sort of nice, yeah. Catches people. Control click, and then you get it. That's the move, but that's after
highlighting.py.
Lexing literal block as a result of an error at token. Highlight block.
Is there any way to disable whatever Sphinx does to my literal blocks?
Well, there's a section they call highlight block. Let's see. That's force true. Oh, we wanted to find out what force is, right?
Yeah, I wonder what force does.
And that's in... Okay, and so we decided that was going to be in transforms, add nodes, highlighting. Lecture classes.
Oh, there's force.
Oh, that's when it's using That's what it's using Figma.
None. Oh, language none. I guess language none will be the same as plain text though. Like it'll still run the lexer.
Yeah.
But the lexer won't be highlighting anything.
Oh, I see. And we wanted to skip the lexer?
Yes.
There's a thing called Pigment's Bridge.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
You're looking at that.
I want to skip this.
Okay,
I don't want anything to run this highlight block. I want to keep the DocUtils nodes in, and it seems to concatenate them all so that it can do its highlighting. But okay, it looks like that's directly in the writer. Yeah. Visit literal block.
Oh, there is a bridge.
What's a parsed literal block?
Hey, what about on line 72 in highlighting? Oh wait, no, that's test. Sorry, that's test.
What's this parsed literal? I think we've seen that before.
Yes, we saw that. I think that was from DocUtils.
Was it?
If not force, then razor. Oh. Wait, maybe you don't force it. Maybe force should be set to false.
I think I've tried that.
Oh, you tried that. Okay, yeah, no. Alright.
So let's do that again then. Wait. Parsed literal. Literal block that supports inline markup.
Ooh.
Well, great, great, yeah. Great. Where where can I get that?
Literal, so that would be Sphinx probably. Let's see. Parsers, maybe.
So documentation,
nope.
documentation, handling this thing, documentation, handling parsed literals, support parsed literals. Is that a oh, it's DocUtils thing.
It's a DocUtils thing.
Unlike an ordinary literal block, the blah 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 constructs a literal block where the text is parsed for inline markup. It is equivalent to a line block with different rendering. Care must be taken with the text. Okay. So this doesn't tell us anything about how to construct this from the API, unfortunately. So let's look here. So it says if node.rawSource is not node.asText, skip parsed literal node. Yeah, so it's comparing the raw source to asText. So let's see, the raw source, that was this first thing here. And if I set it to something, will that work?
God, we're gonna have to stop. Or
right, out of time.
I mean, not right away, but I mean, we are over time. I don't know if you have a. I can hang in here for another couple of minutes.
Yeah, this didn't work as well. That didn't work either. Well,
so
we can definitely continue next week. I think your time changes this weekend, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. So. But it's the time is fine. I mean, we started. My calendar was correct. I think.
Yeah, but I do need to move this in my time zone.
Oh,
So I will change the Discord invitation and check the time again to see when it will happen.
Okay. So basically,
hopefully it'll.
You will start in an hour early.
Yeah, hopefully I need to change it just for myself, and it'll stay the same for you. That's the intent for next week.
Okay. Okay.
So nothing. If you're in the US, nothing changes.
Yeah.
If you're in Europe, this was an exception.
Okay.
All right. So let's continue this next week and see if we can get Sphinx to put in the links.
To figure out. Or maybe in the commit, maybe do like a commit with a line number. It seems like basically what we want to do is put a hyperlink in the. Because we did manage to find the line length hack, right?
We don't need this hack anymore. Yeah, we need to. So what Sphinx does is it takes the underlying text here, highlight that, and present it.
Yeah.
So we want to skip that, and it looks like there is a visit literal block, like super visit literal block here. Says this is most probably a parsed literal block. So we want to make Sphinx take this code path instead of highlighting, right? Because when it's highlighting, it will take raw source.
I see, and we don't want it to be raw source. They have a thing that says node as text.
I wonder what the raw source is, and whether we can like set it. But that's that's for later. Let me link to here. And maybe I want to close my browser window and have all the tabs open. Maybe not. Well, I guess extending things is not a extending Sphinx is not a 2-hour thing. All right. See you next week then.
Even when you, yeah, sounds great. See you next week.
Thanks for your time.
My pleasure.